My name is Alexander Sumbekov, and I chose the topic of 5 core elements. I think many people have a different definition for 5 core elements. Personally, I would say it's qualities and traits that can guide an individual in life and career, as well as distinguish them from other people. My elements are honest, organized, detail oriented, competitive, and results driven. So the first one in my list is honesty. And it got into my list because I noticed people of my age group are all tough to approach, so it becomes a little bit harder to make new friends and connections. And I think being honest with them just makes it easier. Not only that, but I think honesty is an important part of gaining trust and trusting others, which is why I try to be honest at all times. I wasn't always organized. But one day in high school, I realized that some of my classmates who were organized had better time management, better grades, and were just less stressed out about school. So I thought if there are such amazing advantages to being organized, I should definitely try it. And to this day, I'm always organized. I plan my days out, I make deadlines for myself, and now I realize that being organized is a huge part of my day to day life. So, this one's going to be a little bit harder to explain. I've pretty much always been detail oriented, so I always pay close attention to any details. So, if it's linked to my studies, my hobbies, or even sport. And most of the time, focusing on details is advantageous because it improves my work and my plans. However, sometimes it takes too much time when I focus on some small details, so I'm working to fix that problem. I always was competitive, and it's something that's just embedded onto me. Being competitive creates a goal for me to achieve and is also a motivator, meaning I'm more driven towards goals by being competitive. However, competitiveness isn't always good. For example, sometimes being too competitive can lead me astray from my teammates in a group project and thus hurt the team's efficiency. Which is why I need to improve the way I perceive competitiveness and use it only when it's appropriate. The reason why results driven got into my list is because I came to a realization that I care more for results than the actual journey towards the goal, and I set a lot of goals. So, anytime I strive for a goal that I've set, the results will decide if I achieved it or not. Firstly, I think that my 5 core elements may change with time as I grow older. As for the near future, I think that competitiveness and being results driven will benefit me after I graduate, especially in today's modern society where there's a lot of individuals with high skills who are competing for those better high paying jobs. So I think competitiveness especially will benefit me in that aspect. As for the remaining 3, being organized, detail oriented, and honest are all generally useful traits to have. Being organized and detail oriented connects well together, as when I plan my time out, it usually is filled with lots of details. And lastly, being honest, in my opinion, is just morally correct. And with that, I hope my honesty will bring mutual honesty from others around me. The conclusion I came to is that the 5 core elements aren't always beneficial. These 5 qualities may not be perfect. As I mentioned earlier on in the presentation, I face some disadvantages with being overly competitive or too detail oriented, and I think that it's important to evaluate the disadvantages and work on improvement so that the 5 core elements will only be useful to you in the future. Thank you for taking your time to listen to my presentation.